Democratic lawmakers are discussing various options for protesting U.S. President Donald Trump's speech to Congress, which will take place today, March 4th. Several House Democrats told Axios about this. It is noted that some legislators are preparing props for Trump's speech, posters, eggs or empty egg cartons, a hint at the rise in egg prices in the U.S., pocket constitutions, a hint that Trump is violating the Constitution, as well as firecrackers and red cards. In addition, the Democrats said that protesters could be given ties in the colors of the Ukrainian flag. The option of a silent protest is also being considered, during which participants will not applaud Trump or react to his words. The publication emphasized that there is widespread disagreement among Democrats, both in Congress and outside of it, about what would be the most appropriate and effective form of demonstration against Trump. It is also possible that some lawmakers will leave the chamber after the U.S. president utters specific phrases that they find unacceptable. One House Democrat told reporters that Trump's criticism of transgender children crossed the line, and some lawmakers may walk out of the chamber to show their displeasure with the president. There are definitely a lot of voters who really want the Democrats to disrupt the rally, and then there are voters who think it will only play into his hands, one Democrat told reporters. According to CBS News, Trump will deliver a speech to Congress on advancing peace agreements, border security, and the economy. Several members of Trump's own party in Congress have expressed frustration with his language and tactics surrounding the Ukraine-Russia peace process. "We all want this senseless war to end, but ending it on Russia's terms would be a devastating mistake that plays right into Putin's bloody hands," said Senator Lisa Murkowski. Murkowski said, U.S. administration officials refuse to acknowledge that Russia started the war in Ukraine. It ends with a tense, shocking conversation in the Oval Office and whispers from the White House that they may try to end all U.S. support for Ukraine. She added, "I know foreign policy is not for the faint of heart, but right now, I am sick to my stomach as the administration appears to be walking away from our allies and embracing Putin, a threat to democracy and U.S. values around the world." Senator James Lankford said that Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky is rightfully concerned about Russia reneging on agreements, as some Trump administration officials took to the airwaves to criticize the leader of the longtime U.S. ally. "I understand Zelensky is rightfully concerned that Putin has violated every single agreement he's ever signed and that he can't be trusted," Lankford said in an interview on NBC News, Meet the Press. His comments come after an explosive exchange in the Oval Office between President Donald Trump, Vice President J.D. Vance and Zelensky, in which the U.S. leaders berated the Ukrainian president for his approach to diplomacy and argued that he didn't sufficiently thank the U.S. for its support, despite Zelensky having thanked the U.S. numerous times. Current and former Russian officials praised Trump after the confrontation. President Donald Trump said a deal ending hostilities could be made very fast, but he said Zelensky doesn't seem to be interested. "Now, maybe somebody doesn't want to make a deal," Trump said Monday, not naming Zelensky but clearly referring to him. "And if somebody doesn't want to make a deal, I think that person won't be around very long. That person will not be listened to very long. Because I believe that Russia wants to make a deal." Zelensky says Russian President Vladimir Putin can't be trusted to maintain a ceasefire, and Ukrainians won't lay down their arms without security commitments from the United States and Europe. According to Associated Press, Trump's comments join a chorus of his advisors and allies who have suggested Zelensky may need to step aside. Trump is still describing the economic agreement with Ukraine a great deal, after refusing to sign it last week when he said Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky was disrespectful during a contentious Oval Office meeting. Trump delivers a speech to a joint session of Congress Tuesday night.
Mr. President, is the Ukraine minerals deal now dead, or can it be revived? What's your...
Well, I'll let you know. We're making a speech. You probably heard about it tomorrow night, so I'll let you know tomorrow night. But no, I don't think so. I think
Mr. President,
it's a great deal for us because, Biden very, very foolishly, stupidly, frankly, gave $300 billion and $350 billion more accurately to a country to fight and to try and do things. And you know what happened? We get nothing. We get nothing. Just gave it. We could have rebuilt our entire U.S. Navy with $350 billion.
Ukraine, sir, on Ukraine.
Mr. President, what do you need to see from President Zelensky to restart these negotiations?
Well, I just think he should be more appreciative because this country has stuck with them through thick and thin. We've given them much more than Europe, and Europe should have given more than us because, as you know, that's right there. That's the border. This country really was like the fence on the border. It was very important to Europe, and I'm not knocking Europe. I'm saying that they were a lot smarter than Joe Biden. It was 1 hour away from where China makes their nuclear weapons. We would have kept Baku, one of the biggest air bases in the world. I want to see it end fast. I don't want to see this go on for years and years. Now, President Zelensky supposedly made a statement today in AP. I'm not a big fan of AP, so maybe it was an incorrect statement, but he said he thinks the war's going to go on for a long time. And he better not be right about that. That's all I'm saying.
Wouldn't that be concerning to Americans?
Read the statement.
That Russia says that your administration's foreign policy is, quote, largely in line with their vision.
Well, I'll tell you what, I think it takes two to tango, and you're going to have to make a deal with Russia, and you're going to have to make a deal with Ukraine. You're going to have the assent, and you're going to have the consent from the European nations, because I think that's important, and from us. I think everybody has to get into a room, so to speak, and we have to make a deal. And the deal can be made very fast. It should not be that hard a deal to make. It could be made very fast. Now, maybe somebody doesn't want to make a deal. And if somebody doesn't want to make a deal, I think that person won't be around very long. That person will not be listened to very long because I believe that Russia wants to make a deal. I believe certainly the people of Ukraine want to make a deal. They've suffered more than anybody else. We talk about suffering. President Obama, they got a nice big submarine base, a nice big chunk of land where they have their submarines. You know that, right? Crimea. I can only say you can go back to Bush, you can go back to Obama, and go back to Biden. They took a lot. The only one they didn't get, you know what I gave them? I gave them anti-tank missiles. That's what I gave them. I gave them sanctions on Russia. I gave them javelins. You know the javelins? You know when they took out all those tanks? You know the tanks were heading to Kiev by the hundreds, and they were unstoppable. And I gave them javelins. So, you know, I really, Putin is the one that will tell you this has not been so good for them. The fact is that I just want fairness. I want fairness. But think of it. I gave Russia nothing except grief. I gave them nothing. I gave them sanctions and javelins. That's what I gave them. Except grief. I gave them nothing. I gave them sanctions and javelins. And let me tell you, we have to make a deal because there are a lot of people being killed that shouldn't be killed. But remember, Trump gave them nothing, and the other president